Hey guys, what's up? This is Luis el Apóstol Feliz. Second installment. This is my 4 day, 5 day update on my Doc Martin 2976. And I know what y'all are thinking. You know, didn't you do a review on these? Last Thursday. During Christmas Day. And I have to say, yes, I did. And so, but I wanted to show you guys, I want to go more in depth on should you buy these Doc Martin 2976? And, are these, worthy of a review? So, let's begin. So as you guys can see, I've worn them, Monday, I wore them Thursday. I wore them on Christmas Day. I've worn them on Christmas Day. And, after I did the review, after I showed you guys my review, honestly, these are still a dandy. And so let's talk about how I feel. These boots, I feel like every man should get these Doc Martens because these are, near perfect. But I'm going to show you guys one thing that I've encountered. Well, just a little thing. I'm, I have to nitpick because, no boot is perfect. And so I'm going to talk about what I think about these boots. And so let's talk about the positives. The positive is, these feel like a true Chelsea boot. The leather feels oh so exquisite. The moment I got these boots, I'm like, heck yes. I really belong in these boots. And, I think these boots, I feel like they are at home. They are at home with my style. And I'm going to show you next time, y'all comment below if I should do a how to style video on these Chelsea boots. Because, these are worthy of a review. So, another thing that I do like about them is that, they feel soft. They feel squishy. It feels like when you get in a new car, obviously the seats are soft. The seats are, hold you in place. And the bolstering, the seat bolsters hold you in place like a mother holds a newborn baby. And that's the thing I feel about. That's the feeling about when I got these Chelsea boots. I took them to Ontario. I took them to Walmart. I took them to, I just worn them around the house. And I feel like these are right at home with my style. And so let's talk about what I think. So obviously these have a lug sole. Um, these have a lug sole right here, and I like the heel. I like the heel cap here. How it's seamless. How it's seamless here, and how it looks right there, and you do have your Doc Martin logo. It has the airwear technology, and I really love these boots. When I saw these back in at the Victoria Gardens, ooh la la, I was in love with these boots. I was just hyped when I saw these boots, and you know these. When I saw these, I'm like, oh my gosh, these feel right at home with my style. And you guys can see that little the sole right there. It says Doc Martin. It says Doc Martin, and these are a dandy. Obviously these are unlined. These are not lined. These are fabric lined. But I also like the fact that you do have just some subtle touches right here. Your stitching that goes up, and like I've shown you guys on the video, look at that beefy. These are beefy, y'all. These are super cool, super nice. These are versatile. These are versatile. And I think these boots, they feel right at home with, just styling. And you know that these boots are versatile because these are, dark brown. These are dark brown. So, one thing that I do want to talk about, again, I have to nitpick because there's no such thing as a perfect boot. You do have just a little bit of creasing here on the leather, and right here, you guys can see, you do have just a little bit of a scratch right there, or I don't know what that is. The leather starts to crease right there. It's normal for Doc Martens. I don't know if it's normal, but being my first pair, you can see right there the creasing here. So you may want to use some shoe trees here. You may want to handle these with care, because there's a little bit of creasing right there, and obviously, wearing them for long periods of time, these are prone to crease, and so, no scratches, just some creasing here. Another potential downside, there's just a superficial scratch right there. Just a little superficial scratch right there. But, that's the thing that you have to look at when you buy a Chelsea boot from, brand X, Y, and Z. Not just Doc Martens, but other brands. You did have just a little bit of creasing here. You know, nothing. You know, nothing notable, nothing major. You know, man. But the moment I got these for Christmas, oh my gosh, these are beautiful. So, do I recommend these boots? I'd say, heck yes. These deserve to be in your closet. Now, are they perfect? Again, no. There's no such thing as a perfect Chelsea boot. Doesn't matter if you have Beckett Simmons on. Doesn't matter if you have Thursday boots. Doesn't matter if you have, you know, Bluntstones. You are going to have just a little bit of creasing here. But man, the leather is beefier than fulanos. Beefy as fulanos. And so, you know, thankfully no stitches are coming out, you know. But again, it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how they age. But you need to use some shoe trees, you know. You need to give these, you know, a periodic, you know, you know, care with these. But, you know, comparing them to, brands, comparing them to the competition, these boots are a dandy. So, oh, and how can I forget, y'all? I like that pull tab. It's just like, it's just black, you know, just cloth, you know. It's a separately applied cloth pull tab. So let me know what y'all think about these boots. And let me know if you guys like them. And you know, from what I've heard from forums and, you know, they said that these boots aren't, you know, gonna age very well, but you know, it's my first pair, y'all, and so these are super cool. So if you have any questions, make sure you guys leave them in the comments. You know, for y'all Doc Martin fans, these boots are a dandy. So, and also let me know if y'all want a short video on these. So make sure you guys comment, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. And until next time, peace.